spent 155 years in this castle. The Dutch also took over in 1637.
Hello lovely people, this is Nanajo's Daily Delight. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are exploring St. George Castle, popularly known as Elmina Castle. It is situated in Elmina, a town in the central region of Ghana, which is about 3.5 hours drive along the coast from Accra. It's nestled between the Atlantic Ocean and the Benya River, providing a natural harbor. Elmina Castle is about 12 kilometers away from Cape Coast. This castle was built by the Portuguese in 1482. It was originally used as a trading post for gold and other commodities. However, it later became a major hub for the transatlantic slave trade, with thousands of enslaved Africans being held in the castle's dungeon before being shipped off to the Americas. What we are seeing here is the castle's museum, which offers a poignant glimpse into Ghana's complex past. It was established in 1996 through a joint effort by the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, the United States Agency for International Development, and the Midwest Universities Consortium for International Activities. This museum serves as a crucial educational and commemorative resource. This museum showcases the history of the castle, the transatlantic slave trade, and Ghanaian culture. The castle's museum is the first place you visit after paying your entrance fees of 20 Ghana cedis for adults and discounted price for students. The museum is a self-guided tour, so you get to learn a lot by yourself for about 10 minutes before the tour guide takes you around the castle. The museum exhibits map of slave trade routes, photographs, artifacts, and a whole lot. The tour guide will be taking us through the whole castle, but we will begin with the male slave dungeon first.
The castle was built by the Portuguese in 1482. They came here in 1471 to trade in red festivity. The system of trade was barter, that's the exchange of goods sold without the use of money. So the Portuguese came along with European goods like guns, gunpowder, tobacco, minerals, among others, in exchange of gold, ivory, and spices from the locals. They were influenced so much by the gold they received from the locals, and as such, they named the town Elmina in the Portuguese language, which means the mine. Yes, but the locals unfortunately corrupted it to Elmina. But before the arrival of the Europeans, the initial name of the town was Anomansa, which means inexhaustible supply of water. So they traded in barter trade for 45 years. Then in 1500s, their attention shifted from gold to slavery. Yes. So they continued the slave trade for 110 years. So the Portuguese stayed in this castle for 155 years. The Dutch attacked this castle in 1637 and then captured it from the Portuguese. They also continued the slave trade for 235 years. But in the late 1860s and the early 1870s, slave trade was abolished all over the world. So the castle was now very expensive for the Dutch to maintain. And as a result, they sold it to the British. When the British bought this castle from the Portuguese, the Dutch in 1872, they made this castle a sub-administrative center to the Cape Coast Castle. Okay. So they had control over this castle for 85 years. When they came in, they recruited men from all West African English-speaking countries, except Liberia, trained these men in here as soldiers, and they were sent to Burma and India to fight for them during the Second World War. After the war, this castle was turned into a police training school in 1948.
Okay.
So this is a short introduction. Now we'll start our walking tour.
Okay.
Yes, male. When the ships arrived. So the Canada is a banding room where they banded the slaves for easy education. They branded in their chest And most of them lost their lives through the shock.
Is it with fire?
Yes, the metal was put in fire, it was passed down for them for easier identification.
Alright.
Wash your head and take a step down.
Okay.
So we are now in the intercession room, because the males came through this side and then the females descended. This used to be a staircase. So they descended from this place to the room of no return when the ship arrived. So this is where some family members will meet themselves for the last time.
Before they will be separated.
Before they will be separated, because they will be sent to different countries. Please, you are going to the room of no return. Watch your head and count 5 steps down before you raise your head.
Okay.
Yes. Please watch your head.
Sorry.
So this is the room of no return, and then this is the door of no return. It's called the room of no return because once the slaves get in here, there is no way they are going back to their dungeons. After here, they are being sent to their own world. So initially, the sea was nearer to the castle, so the bigger ships docked, and then the small boats came for them. There used to be a ladder, they used to descend to the smaller boat, and then they would descend to the bigger boat. They arranged. Yes. So due to the rotation of the earth and then climatic change, the sea has receded. Boats were thrown into the sea, and then some also threw themselves into the sea.
Yes.
So they were sent to places like the Caribbean, Europe, and America for plantation.
And I understood the intention of this.
Yes,
Small,
when they were dealing in
too big.
goods, this was how bigger the door was. But when it shifted to slave trading, they made this very narrow for easy counting and to control them. So we have some many pictures were set among these rooms. On top live the merchants, the priests and the missionaries, the soldiers, and then the second floor is for the deputy governor. The third floor was the governor, and then these are 2 separate cells. The slides wall we see here are called the mattresses. They are the supporting walls to the castle from here. The iron bars were added by the British. They turned this as a military police to were used by their soldiers for trespassing. So go to the dungeon. Female slaves were shed among these rooms. Please let's take a walk through the floor. This is one of the female dungeons. So initially there was a window here to separate the dungeons.
Okay.
We are in the biggest female dungeon, and about 150 female slaves were kept in here.
450.
150. Yes, please. So wooden containers were kept at the corners for them to ease themselves. And because some walked from Nigeria, and among others, to here, they grew weaker and they couldn't move to these containers. So they did everything on themselves on the floor, which include our monthly menstrual cycle. So this floor you stand on contains blood, feces,
Urine.
food particles, urine, everything, sweat. That's why we still smell some things from here. Yes. And then this were it's bought by some tourists to pay the last respect to our ancestors. And then so we had a door here, a wooden door, another room there. So this is quite a wooden chambers are where their source of ventilation. And then the hole we see there is a room called the maximum room. And then they were kept in here about 2 to 3 months before the ship arrived.
Okay. So,
These were the ones.
stink like something.
This is a rainwater reservoir. It contains about 20,000 gallons of rainwater. Please let's have a look. Oh. That's its water. So this was used for domestic purposes like the cooking. So that is the governor's balcony. Sorry. The coastal.
Where is the source of this water?
It was rainwater. It was connected to the governor's balcony. Once the coastal line was called the White Man's Way because when they came in, they were dying of malaria. So the governors came along, they didn't come with their wives. So whenever they wanted to satisfy their sexual desires, they used the female slaves. Whenever they want to do that, they ordered the soldiers to bring out all the female slaves in this yard. They would stand up there, make the choice. Whenever one of them are to be giving the bath here with this water, giving something to read in here, and then there was a secret passage here. The government was So this is the secret passage to the governor's residence. It's over 500 years now and it's weak, so we can't use other food to the governor's residence. So
Are these the original rooms?
Yes, please.
Original.
Yes, please. So through this, most of them got pregnant before the ship arrived. And they needed a strong one to go and sell them. So whenever they find out you are pregnant, they will send you to they built stone houses in the town for them to go and give birth in there. And then they will spend 3 years with their child. And then the children will be brought back to this castle for education. They started the formal education in here. This castle, they were brainwashed, and then they trained them to be interpreters, missionaries, among others. They brainwashed them, and then we call these kids the mulattoes or mixed race. They were given names like Van Dyke, Samson, and then Pineapple.
Nelson.
Some ladies resisted the rape, and then they think was got free. Now let's have a look at the punishment they were given.
The beginning of Christianity. Interesting. The beginning of Christianity was interesting.
So this is a cannonball. It weighs about 25 kg, and then it had chains. Initially it was 8, and then it had chains on them. So they will chain this to their ankle to control their movement. They will be made to stand in here whether rain or shine for 24 hours with rain and no water. Yes, please. To save as a detail for those inside, so whenever the governor chooses them, don't hesitate.
Wow.
Let's have a look. There will be another female dungeon and contain about 130 female slaves. The materials you see on the floor are not original. It was used by some students. They made a project on how our Africans
They came to imitate.
They used this, to cover their private parts.
Yeah.
So these are the original iron bars. But going later, it has been replaced. Then these yellow bricks are from the British, and these red bars, the red bricks are from the Portuguese.
Okay.
Please, any questions?
So the yellow is from the Dutch.
Yes, please.
Where did they mine this stuff?
This is it?
Where did they mine this?
The balance they are shipped when they are coming with these bricks.
So they actually bring them.
Yes.
That's why you go there, you see similar things there.
Yes, they brought them.
That's fine.
So this was when the survived female captives descended to the room of no return. Then it has now been turned into a drainage, and then these iron bars are not original. It was added to prevent accidents. So please let's see what happens next.
Hi, Celeste.
And then from our move here. They point to kill.
So this was the kitchen. This whole place was the kitchen wall.
Okay.
Worshiping God.
This is a church.
Yes. You know, we're down there.
The coastal town is just beautiful here. This is the local market. You can feel the energy and creativity. This community has rebuilt itself, honoring the past while embracing a hopeful future. This side here also is the fishing area of Elmina.
Indian soldiers' mess. It was where they ate and drank. So think the darkness rested.
Is this original or? Very right.
Yes, please.
That's a very
So what are the elements? The washroom. And an emergency exit. All for office.
was enjoying.
So this is something about the government's balcony. Whenever they finish the meeting, he'll stand in here and order, pass on the information, whatever information they had to the soldiers. Then those two are called the water towers. Yes, the police were inside to check whether there was an attack to protect the castle.
Are these still original?
Yes, please. This was the road for Ghana.
Oh, okay.
So where we had their meeting.
Yeah, meetings, yeah.
The European cell and the condemned cell.
Oh, okay.
This is the European cell. Some of the European soldiers went out without permission. Some were also misbehaving. So here, in here, they were kept. Then served as a punishment for them. They were fed with food and water. Then they were kept in here for some hours. Then, as you can see, this room is well ventilated. Now let's compare this cell to the condemned cell.
Okay.
Please, this design and whatever, is it a recent or it was? Yeah. They did this to send a signal, yeah.
Africans tried to fight back for their freedom.
Yeah.
We call them the freedom fighters. So whenever that happened, they brought them in here to be starved to death. So in here, they were fed with no food, no water. They just kept them in here to starve and die. Wow. So the metals, they are original. The soldiers stood outside to check.
So at the same time, they were still doing what has already started by the Portuguese or whatever,
Yes,
like
please.
spreading the teaching us Christianity, and it was still going on.
Yes, please.
And this was also going on.
Yes. So the metals, they are original. That's why the soldiers stood outside to check if they are still dead or alive. So whenever you are dead, if they check and you are dead, they will carry your body and then throw it into the sea. If you are not, you will still be kept in here till you die.
And then at a point you told us that when they are shipped, most of them out of resistance, they jump into the sea.
Yeah.
Do they survive? Those who can swim or they just die?
No, they will die. They prefer to die on their land to be sent to the unknown one, so they didn't know where they were going.
What they would face.
So no man went in here and went out alive. That's why we have the symbol there, the skull.
Just death penalty.
It was later divided into two by the Dutch. The top at the junior soldier mess, and then down the auction room or the trading room
By the Dutch.
by the Dutch.
By the Portuguese, it was a church.
Yes, please. When the Dutch took over, the British took over, they turned into a police training school.
Okay. Surprisingly, when you go to like Jamaica, some of the you see some of them are mentioned there. They give names to places like this Edina. We are seeing these names. They are still there, and they speak some funny language. Which is, if you understand this, it's similar. I was just looking at them. And the kinky, the front, like the way we mold the food, they still do it. Was it here that somebody was buried? The first Ghanaian? That's the Portuguese. You could have exhumed the body to see what is there.
They spent 155 years in this castle. The Dutch also took over in 1637. They spent 235 years. The British took over in 1872. They spent 85 years until Ghana gained her independence in 1957. It's been 68 years. But this castle stands to be 543 years. It held a minimum of 1,000 adults, from which 600 were males and then 400 were females.
During the course of the trade. Thousands of numbers. Okay, that time where the population was not that small.
In 1979, the Fort St. Jago, Cape Coast Castle, and this castle, the Elmina Castle, were made the World Heritage Site by UNESCO. This brings us the end of our tour. Please have a good day.
Thank you very much.
From here, they brought people from other countries before they moved them from here.
Yes, please.
So this was more like a central market.
Yes.
Yeah, police like.
Elmina Castle is a must-visit destination in Ghana. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more travel vlogs and content. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.